Hi, it's Maggie. Today I'm doing the chart of Britney Spears, pop star of the decades, actually. So I'm just curious. I was just curious about her, erratic behavior and, um, yeah, so I'll give her birth info. First of all, she's very much a Sagittarius, born December 2nd, 1981, in Macomb, Missouri, or is it not Mississippi? Looks like Missouri. I thought she was from Louisiana. Anyway, this says Macomb, Missouri, 1:30 a.m. Um, so it has her Sagittarius with the Libra ascendant. Libra's beauty. She has Saturn in first house Libra and her ascendant. So um, Saturn's exalted in Libra. So she's been a hard worker her whole entire life. Saturn is discipline, structure. I mean, she probably didn't have much of a childhood. She was always working. Started as a Disney kid, and it just went on from there. Pluto is also in her first house. Saturn, Pluto, first house, dominant personality. Although, well, let me get to her moon first. Her moon is in Aquarius, so that's a trine to her air, her air, to Libra. There's a trine between her moon, fifth house, Aquarius. So she loves what she does. She loves singing, acting, dancing, all the arts because she's a Libra. And she's very disciplined in all of them. Just a great singer, actress, dancer. And she also has Mars, the planet of action, vitality, will, ambition, ruler of Aries in the 12th house in Virgo. So that could be health issues. And she has had some, kind of like a nervous breakdown and some mental health issues. That would be Mars in the 12th house. Partially, that could be a contributing factor. It's in Virgo. It's in Pisces house, but it's in Virgo. So Virgo would be work and health. So kind of interfered with her work for a while. And it's squaring Neptune. Neptune, I'm just going to go around the wheel. Her chart is like a bowl shape. So everything is below, kind of near the IC, below the horizon. So although she's very, very public, she is rather an introvert because everything's in a bowl sort of below the IC. The only thing above the IC, above the horizon, is Mars, but that's in the 12th house of Pisces, and that's in Virgo. So her second house is Jupiter, just extremely lucky with money. It's in Scorpio. So second house is your assets, your material assets, and your values. It's in Scorpio. So she's made a ton of money through joint assets, and had very, very good luck, good fortune. Um, Very lucky to have that. She made a ton of money through her artistry. Her third house is loaded. That's her communication house. That's Gemini's house. She is a Sagittarius. So her erratic, erratic behavior, unusual to some people, is their Sun Uranus conjunction. I mean, they're so close together. It's almost sort of like she's an Aquarian. Well, she is an Aquarian. She's got the moon in Aquarius. So they're kind of off the wall and eccentric and fun, and they're very open-minded. They're kind of friends with everyone. So she has the ruler of Aquarius conjunct Uranus is conjunct her sun, and her sun is conjunct her Mercury. And she also has Neptune, and they're all in Sagittarius in her third house of communication. So she can do everything. Neptune tunes into all the arts that she does. Sun, Mercury, her communication through all the arts, and touring, traveling, international acclaim. But the Sun Uranus, let me just check the degrees of that. That's very interesting to me. Uranus is 0 degrees and her sun is 10 degrees. So, but you know, Uranus is an outer planet, and they're pretty close together. I would call it a conjunction. So her personality or her style of communication can come, you know, I mean, she would change it up all the time, change it up all the time. And that one, I'm a slave, you know, that would be her first house, Pluto, and her second house, you know, her sexuality as well. You know, after the Disney phase, you know, she started growing up, you know. So, yeah, and so she made a lot of money through her asset house, having Jupiter there. But yeah, her third house, Neptune, is her artistry, singing, dancing. She loves that. And having all those in Sagittarius is touring around the world. But the Sun, Uranus, and Mercury is, let me just check the degree of Mercury. Mercury is in detriment in Sag. It's 5 degrees. So they're all in a pretty close conjunction. She has that whole stellium in the third house of communication. So, yeah, so, you know, yeah, she can be kind of off the wall, you know. She can be erratic, eccentric, and just come off strange because that Aquarians are, for one thing, you know. And so that would be her moon, 5th house. And her moon is trining Libra, so that's a air trine. You know, what she loves to do is communicate her arts all over the airwaves, you know. And Uranus rules Aquarius, so she's all over the media, you know. And she loves people, and she loves performing. That's what she does. That's Leo's house, so she loves performing in public. But I think interiorly, she's kind of a private person. Although she has all that fire, Uranus just is so unpredictable, so close to her sun, very, very unpredictable. And fire is extremely impulsive, so she would, you know, kind of act out impulsively, and you know, fire signs kind of act and then think about it later, or they don't think about it at all. And Uranus is just unusual and strange. So she, you know, yeah, it was kind of in the news, but definitely in the news. That would be third house communication for her, erratic, eccentric, unusual, um, just stuff, you know, her weddings and her, you know, but there's also, mental illness as well. So that also could be Uranus, Neptune in the third house, you know, her whole stellium in the third house of communication. And Neptune is squaring Mars. That is a very hard, challenging 90-degree aspect to her 12th house Virgo. So the 12th house, it's kind of like I was going to say, it's kind of like a mutual reception, but not really. It's Mars is, you know, it rules Aries. It's fire sign. So, but it's in her health house. Where I'm getting to with this is her mental health issues. Not only Sun, Uranus, and Mars in the 12th, but they're squaring Neptune. And Neptune, I mean, that certainly increases her artistic ability. I mean, she's such an artist, born with discipline, but working so hard with Saturn, first house Saturn, you know, I think she just, and Pluto gives a compulsive, obsessive quality to her, for her personality, and for her personality was work, and they were all in her art, and they were all intertwined. And so eventually, I think it was just so hard on her body, the ascent. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm trying to get it out fast. Libra is her ascendant, but it's also your body, her physical body. So Saturn and Pluto, you know, on your ascendant can be very, very hard. So eventually she had probably like a nervous breakdown, and that would be, you know, the Sun, Uranus, Sun conjunct Uranus, Neptune and Mercury square. Well, actually, Neptune is the one squaring Mars. So I need to get to the point. Neptune is, well, it's her artistry for one thing. It's the ruler of Pisces, the 12th house. And it's squaring Mars. So that can cause deception, illusion, fogginess. So it just squared her health. It gave her some health issues for sure. And they were very public and secretive as well. You know, Neptune can be secretive, but it is the ruler of the 12th house. So Virgo, anything, Mars squaring Neptune, you know, could be a malefic for her health, which it is. Which it is. So, you know, she sought help. She sought help. And when she needs it, you know, you need to take care of your body and your health. And for her, because she has first house Saturn and Pluto, that's really hard on your body. She may have had some physical injuries through her career. Yeah, as well as that very public, you know, breakdown. And so she needs to take care of her physical body as well as her emotional health, and not to overdo, because that's hard for her to do, because first house Pluto and Saturn probably beat her up a lot to, you know, get it done. And Mars in the 12th house in your unconscious is in Virgos. Squaring Neptune is a very hard placement, very hard placement. So let's move on. Her 4th house that's the home. She has Venus in Capricorn. So her home life, her career, I mean, she was born working, you know, she pretty much went to school, you know, probably didn't really go to school, just had I think art was her childhood, and her home life. But she has Venus square Saturn, so she kind of didn't have much of a childhood. Her childhood was played out publicly, and basically she was working. So therefore she didn't really go to school. So she loved what she was doing, but it's in Capricorn, and it's, she may have had a very driven, you know, her parents may have been very driven and drove her to work very hard. So although Venus is there and she loved it and probably loves her family and her home, Venus is squaring Saturn, so that could be issues with her father. Saturn would represent her father, first house, it's in Libra. So, and Saturn's also the ruler of Capricorn, so that would kind of be like a mutual reception right there, you know, because Venus rules the arts, it rules Libra. And so she was driven to work really hard and probably had issues with authority and with her father, and just, you know, kind of robbed her of her childhood, I think. So moving on, the 5th house, her moon in Aquarius, she loves what she does. She loves to work. It's in trine with her moon. So she's an expert in her field. I mean, she's just a perfectionist, and very, very passionate about what she does. And yeah, 5th house is media attention, you know. Uranus and Saturn rule Aquarius, and they're in trine. They're in the same element. They're both in air. So that flowed for her, enabled her to, you know, really work hard in her career. Her north node is in Cancer in the 10th house. So she was born to put something up there, because there's really nothing up in her midheaven, but the north node is up there in Cancer. So that gave her enormous sensitivity, and I really don't know her whole childhood history, but I believe her parents, 4th house, Capricorn, squaring Saturn pushed her, pushed her up there. And I think she's of such a sensitive nature because it is in Cancer. So that would make her extremely sensitive. Um, and her sixth house is in Pisces. So again, that's extreme sensitivity. But that's she's in a Piscean field, dancing. She loves dancing and singing. So and acting. So that's her total sixth house of work. Yeah, colors it Piscean. Seventh house is Aries, so she's probably spoiling for a fight. Aries wants to be independent. Seventh house is a house of partnerships. There are no planets there, but it's a very important angle. And to have Aries there, and Aries ruler Mars in the 12th house is in opposition to her relationship house. So could tend to make you argumentative and, with like a little sparring and very impulsive, independent, and would just do what she wants in relationships. So eighth house, joint finances is money. I was going to say his money is Taurus. So very lucky with joint assets because she has Jupiter in Taurus's house. No planets in the eighth house, but having Taurus there, yeah, she's very good with money. Ninth house, Gemini. So there's really nothing up in the midheaven but her north node. So she was meant to put something in the 10th house, and she certainly did. And I believe, she was driven, extremely driven inwardly, because she had Mars beating her up in the 12th house of Virgo, and she had Saturn and Pluto maybe representing her parents. Also, Saturn pressuring her to succeed. She probably wanted to be the best, and Pluto obsessively, it's the ruler of Scorpio, so it was driven to be the best too. And eventually, I think, that song, Till My Body Aches, Dance Till My Body Aches. That's kind of like Saturn, Pluto in the first house. So I'm going to break down her elements. She's predominantly air, but a lot of fire. Her fire is pretty much all in the third house of communication. It's all in Gemini's house, but it's in Sagittarius. So her sun, her communication comes out dynamically, and it's a mutable fire sign. So it's Sun, Mercury, Uranus, and Neptune. It's like, here I am, and very changeable, and Neptune gives her artistic ability. So that she really had that working for her and still does. I was just looking at her Mars again. Yes, so she has some beautiful trines and sextiles, but the main thing I was talking about, her excuse me, conjunction is all fire, all Sagittarius, and she's proud of it. Her air is all her first house air, Libra ascendant. She's beautiful, has a beautiful voice, beautiful dancing. She's just was and is very, very beautiful. And Libras are known for their beauty. Either their beauty, or they have dimples, or they have a soft, pleasant voice. And she has probably all three. So, so her air is her Libra ascendant, Saturn, Pluto, and ascendant, all in the first house, and the moon in Aquarius. So she loves media attention. She loves performing in front of groups. That's her fifth house, moon. And that's what she does. So her water is north node and the midheaven. The midheaven's the angle, so that totally counts as her career sector. And the north node is what you're destined to do and strive towards in this lifetime. And for her, it was a career. And so she's definitely fulfilled her north node. Yeah. And her south node is the opposite of the North Node would be Capricorn. So yeah, she was very much driven, I believe, by her family. Um, and Jupiter is her other water in Scorpio. So very powerful, very, very deep, powerful water, and extreme good luck, good fortune with assets, materially. Um, it's good luck, it's a benefic. So for her, she's very, very lucky and fortunate with money. I mean, if she loses it, she probably makes it right back. So, but she would have to beware of deception in communication because of the third house, Neptune. Neptune can kind of fog, cloud up communication, and Mercury, Sun, Uranus can kind of make it sort of erratic and changeable, change it up. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you do, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.